Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps make the content better. She didn't even look up when I put my arms around her. I came in from the garage, set my lunch cooler on the counter, walked over to the couch, and hugged my wife from behind. Nothing. No smile, no hand on mine, not even a shrug. Just her eyes stuck to some home makeover show, the remote locked in her hand like I was background noise. When I let go, she stood, kept the remote, and said, "I'm going to bed. I'm tired." Door slammed. I stood there like an extra in my own house, listening to the fan hum and the TV hosts laugh at their own jokes. If I'd known where that hallway led, I would have turned the lights off right then and saved us both the week. Next morning, I tried basic sanity. Bacon, eggs, coffee. She shuffled in wearing a hoodie and socks. Hair up, phone already in her palm. Morning, I told her. Eat before it gets cold. I'm not hungry. She turned her phone sideways and scrolled. Can you not fry bacon when I'm sleeping? I did it now because you're not sleeping. She ignored that and sat at the table without touching the plate. I ate mine standing by the sink. Rough night? I asked. Work is ridiculous, she said. And you were stomping around. I came in at 5:30. Normal time. She clicked her tongue. Whatever. I took a breath. You've been distant for a while. I want to figure out what's off. I just told you. Work. That's one slice. I'm asking about us. Don't start, she cut me. I'm not doing a breakfast therapy session. I set my fork down. I'm not doing therapy. I'm doing marriage. Well, congratulations, she said, eyes finally meeting mine, flat as glass. I'm still tired. That night, I tested the warm route. I came in with flowers from the guy on the corner who sells them out of a pickup, set them on the counter, trimmed the stems, found a glass. She glanced over once, then back to her phone. Those for your mom? She asked. They're for you. She shrugged. Put them somewhere you like. I put them on the dining table. We ate takeout on the couch, her legs tucked under a blanket she didn't offer to share. When I reached over to pull her closer, she leaned forward to grab her water bottle, breaking contact like it burned. You good? I asked. I'm fine. You sure? She raised the remote. Can we not do this? 2 days of that. Then small cracks turned to digs. At the grocery store, she held up a brand of sauce I usually bought and said, "This is the one for people who don't know how to cook." At the neighbor's barbecue, she laughed when I went to flip burgers and told Cindy from across the street, "He thinks he's the grill whisperer, loud enough to carry." Cindy gave me an apologetic smile. I flipped the burger and stepped back from the smoke. When we got home, I said, "You don't need to do that in front of people." She toed off her sneakers. Do what? Knock me in front of neighbors. Everyone was joking. You were, I wasn't. Then toughen up, she said, heading down the hall. I followed her to the bedroom doorway and stopped there. I'll give you space tonight, I told her. But tomorrow I'm not pretending this is normal. You can do whatever helps you, she said and shut the door. So I did. I stopped waiting on her mood like it was weather. I ran my own schedule. After work, I went to the bowling league on Tuesdays, fishing with Mike and Julius on Thursdays, took the long route home on the motorcycle when the weather gave me an hour. Saturday morning, I hit the gym early, coffee after with the guys at the diner. No lectures, no dramatic exit. I left a note on the fridge with my week's plan so logistics weren't a fight. I didn't cancel plans for last-minute errands. I didn't hover hoping for half a hug. If she wanted to talk, she knew where the couch was. 2 days into my new schedule, she shifted gears, first illusion of change. I came home from bowling with Lane oil still in my nose and found the kitchen counter wiped, candles lit, pasta simmering. She was at the stove in sweats, hair down, face soft. Hey, she said without looking up. I made dinner. Smells good, I told her, hanging my jacket. What's the occasion? You've been busy, she said, keeping her tone level. I figured we could eat together. Sure. We sat at the table. She served me like old times, poured water, asked about my day. How'd the league go? She asked. I bowled a 212, I said. Split in the 7th, killed a better score. That's high, right? She smiled. Decent. She put her fork down. I know I've been a mess. Work's rough. I'm sorry I've been short. Thanks for saying it. I want us to be good, she said. Then act like we are. She blinked. I'm trying. Keep going, I told her and ate. I didn't make a speech. I didn't hand her a gold star for pasta. I appreciated it, kept my balance, and cleaned up the dishes without a big hug. The next day, we were neutral again. Nice, but stiff, like the house was a waiting room. 2 days later, she snapped the line again. Friday night, we had plans to drive to her sister's, meet their new baby, keep it simple. I came home on time, showered, put on a button-down. She was on the couch in leggings and an oversized hoodie, scrolling. "We leaving at 6, I reminded. "I'm not going." "Since when?" "Since now." "You want me to go alone?" She shrugged. "You told me you're busy. Be consistent." I leaned on the doorway. "This is family, not bowling. All the more reason they'll survive if you go without me," she said, and picked at her sleeve. "Bring a gift from both of us." "Call your sister and tell her you're not coming," I said. "I'm not doing your PR." "She'll be fine," she tossed back. "She has a baby." We stared each other down. I gave it a beat, then changed course, initiative. I texted her sister. "Hey, I'm coming solo. We'll drop off a gift and say hi. See you at 7. Then I walked to the closet, grabbed an overnight bag, and packed a few necessities. "What's that?" she asked. "I'm staying over at Tom's after your sister's," I answered. "We're going fishing in the morning." "Since when?" "Since now." I zipped the bag. "You want flexible schedules, you got them. I'm not available tomorrow morning for chores. If you need something, text me tonight before 9. She laughed through her nose. "Cute." I put the bag by the front door. "One more thing," I said. "We're separating budgets. I moved a chunk to my own account. House bills are covered. Anything beyond that, we talk first." "You moved money?" "Yes. And I'm taking my name off the automatic deliveries. You want something for you, you handle it." She stared at me like she didn't recognize the furniture. "So you're punishing me?" "No. I'm changing the rules to match your energy," I told her, grabbed the gift bag and left. I didn't slam the door. I didn't need to. At her sister's place, I kept it normal. Held the baby, flexed the uncle jokes, brought a casserole I'd picked up on the way. Her sister, Claire, pulled me aside. "She's not coming?" Claire asked. "She said she's tired." Claire sighed. "She's been moody." "Yeah," I said. "It's been a week. You two okay?" "We'll see." I handed her the gift. "This one's practical." Claire smiled. "You always are." On my way out, I texted my wife a photo of me holding the baby with a simple caption, dropped off the gift. Headed to Tom's. She didn't reply. Tom answered in gym shorts holding a beer, football replay on his TV. Tom and I have been friends since we were 20. He owns a small HVAC shop and a house that looks like a bachelor's guide on neutral paint. He doesn't ask many questions unless you want them. "You good?" he asked, tossing me a key off the hook. "Yeah," I said. He nodded. "Guest room's made. We're up at 5. We hit the lake before sunrise. Mike and Julius met us at the dock. Real guys, quiet at first, talkative when there's a hook to brag about. Around 9, with the sun up and the coffee finally hitting, Julius asked the question. "How's home?" he said, baiting a line. "Cold," I answered. "Fight?" Mike asked. "No fight. Just cold." Tom flicked me a look. "You want to say more?" "Not yet." "That's an answer," he said and let it go. Here's the thing about peace. Once you taste a little, the noise back home sticks out louder. I came back Saturday afternoon with a cooler of fish and a calm brain. She was at the dining table with files open, laptop up, headphones around her neck. She didn't look up when I set the cooler by the door. "How was the lake?" she asked, eyes on her screen. "Good. Can you not drip water on the floor?" "It's outside," I told her, pointing to the cooler. "And the floor is dry." "Whatever." She clicked something, scribbled, clicked again. "You said you were back last night." I said I might be, I corrected. Fishing was early. I stayed at Tom's. "Next time, run it by me." I leaned against the doorframe. I don't run my schedule by someone who couldn't be bothered to call her sister. She shut the laptop. "So now we're counting points." "No, I'm counting respect." "That word again," she said, rolling her eyes. "You've been obsessed with it lately." "Because it's missing. And I'm not sticking around to look for crumbs." She watched me, lips pressed. Then she softened, second illusion of change, the sweeter version. "Look," she said, lowering her voice. "I'm serious about trying. I made a list of things we can do. We can trip, no phones. I booked a couple's massage. Thought we could start fresh." "When?" "Next Saturday. I already reserved it." "You did it without asking me," I said, half a smile. "That's a choice." "I wanted to surprise you," she said. Can you just say yes for once? I can't do next Saturday, I told her. I'm taking a training class at the shop. It's a one-off. I'll be gone all day. She exhaled sharply. Of course. Your hobbies have a schedule. I'm an afterthought. I'm done playing the afterthought, I replied. We can plan something, but not like this. She stood, chair sliding back. I can't do this, she said and went to the bedroom. Door closed. I let the silence sit while I cleaned the fish in the garage sink, wrapped them for the freezer, and texted Tom about the class I'd just invented. Then I signed up for a real Saturday workshop at the trade school downtown. If I was going to draw a line, it would be painted. By Wednesday, the sweetness had evaporated. I got the flat tone and the constant minor jabs. She moved to the guest room without a word. She set her phone face down every time she passed me. I stopped checking for anything warmer than room temperature. I went to work, went to the league, grabbed beers with Mike and Julius after, came home when I felt like it, and slept like a man with his conscience in order. Thursday night, she told me, "Don't expect me home tomorrow. I have a late thing." What thing? Just a thing. Work thing. Does it matter? It matters if I'm cooking for two. Then don't cook, she said. Problem solved. Friday she left in the afternoon. Hair done, nails fresh, bag packed. She kissed the air next to my head on her way out like I was her uncle at a cookout. You'll be late. I asked. I'll see, she said and closed the door without locking it. I didn't chase it. I grilled a piece of fish, watched a game, cleaned the kitchen, and went to bed. At 10, I texted, "You good?" No reply. At midnight, I put my phone face down and slept. Saturday morning, she wasn't home. Noon, nothing. I went for a ride to clear my head. For PM, still nothing. I wasn't worried in the dramatic sense. She's an adult with a car and a brain, but that doesn't erase the math. By 5, I sent a text. Are you safe? Let me know you're alive. At 6, she answered. One line. I'm in Miami with an old friend. I'll explain when I'm back. Don't call or text. I'm fine. I read it twice. You don't need to be a detective. Old friend. Had a name and a history, and she knew I knew it. She didn't bother to dress it. She left the note like a receipt on the counter, assuming I'd swallow it and wait for my shift at the apology desk. What I did instead was this. I kept it simple. Explain it to my attorney. I'm done listening to this nonsense. Then I blocked her number. I took a photo of the rings in a dish on the dresser, not for drama, just for file reference. I texted Tom, I'm coming over for a week. He said nothing but thumbs up and an address line, even though I already knew it. I drove to the bank and moved the rest of my savings into a separate account I'd opened 2 days earlier when the old friend, Rhythm, started tapping too loud. I removed her access to my cards. House bills were still covered. I wasn't a teenager with a grudge. But I closed the extras, the subscriptions, the convenience charges, the joint fund money. That faucet turned off. At home, I packed clothes, tools, license copies, the files from the safe. I took photos of the condition of the house room by room. I left the spare keys on the kitchen counter with a note, staying elsewhere while we sort this. Bills covered per usual. Do not contact me directly. My counsel will coordinate logistics. I locked up, took the garage opener, and drove to Tom's. He opened the door, took one look at me, and stepped aside. Spare room, he said. You want food? I want quiet. I told him, put my bag down, and booked the first meeting with a divorce attorney on Monday morning. No dramatics. No late-night monologues. Just decisions. Sunday I went fishing with the guys and let the breeze wash off the static. Mike raised a brow. Anything you want to say? I've started paperwork, I told him. I'm not living with someone who treats me like a waiting room. Julius nodded. Clean. Tom didn't nod. He said, you need help moving stuff? Already packed the basics. The rest can wait. Monday I sat across from a well-put-together attorney in a quiet office with neutral art. She listened, asked 3 precise questions, and told me what she needed. I gave it. We moved. She drafted the first set of documents. I signed where my name needed to go. By noon, notices were set to be delivered. By the afternoon, access was cleaned up. The house was still ours on paper, but I wasn't living in it with a stranger. She tried to contact me through social media, blocked. She emailed, auto-reply with my attorney's info. She tried to call from another number, blocked. She got the message. This wasn't a round table. It was a closing process. A week of that went by. Peace is a strange luxury when you've been feeding chaos. I worked, lifted, slept, talked to the guys, bowled a clean series, and cooked at Tom's like we were back in our 20s. He kept the TV low and the fridge stocked. He didn't ask for gossip. He asked if I needed the ladder and handed me it before I answered. On Friday afternoon, the front door at Tom's rattled. Tom was at the shop. I was home early because my first job finished faster than expected. The door flew open and there she was, out of breath, eyes wide, hair pulled back like she'd sprinted. She looked past me into the living room. "I barely found where you were," she started loud. "What is this circus? Why did you run?" "I didn't move." "Say what you came to say, then go." She stepped inside without waiting. "I spent 2 days trying to reach you. The least you could do is answer. What is wrong with you?" "What's wrong with me is I'm done." She dropped her bag. "I went to Miami for a break. With a friend. You know him. That's not a crime." "You called him a friend," I said deadpan. "We both know the map. We caught up. That's it. You don't go catch up states away without a heads up and then tell your husband not to call. You do that because you think I'll sit home polishing the welcome sign." "You are being ridiculous," she shot back, pacing in a tight line. "You are punishing me because I wanted a weekend away." "No," I said, voice level. "I'm ending this because you thought I was your backup plan." She stared. "You're throwing away our marriage because I took a trip?" "I'm ending it because you took a trip with a man you used to date, told me not to contact you, and came back ready to sell me a story. We're not the same people we were. I won't live like a spare tire." "You could have at least waited to talk to me," she said, voice rising. "I already did, weeks ago. I got silence, jabs, and then a postcard from Miami." She planted her hands on her hips. "We've had a rough patch. Couples work through it. Couples do," I told her, pointing at the door. "We're not that. Not anymore." She crossed her arms. "So that's it. You moved the money? You blocked me? That's low. That's adult. We're dividing. I paid the bills. The rest is mine. You can't just..." I cut her off. "My attorney is happy to explain the rest. He's got popcorn ready. He loves hearing stories. Me? I'm done. There's nothing you can say that changes this." She blinked, stunned for 1 second, then leaped into fury. "You're unbelievable. You never listened. You never paid attention to what I needed." "I listened. I listened to you say perfect lines about being tired, then watched you make time to fly out with someone from your past. That's all the listening required." "Don't you dare," she snapped. "I have a right to my friends. And I have a right to my self-respect," I answered, hand on the doorknob. "Enjoy your rights elsewhere." "You'll regret this," she said, pointing a finger like a referee. "You're throwing away years." "I'm saving the rest," I told her and opened the door. "We're done." She didn't move. I waited. She stomped forward, grabbed her bag, and brushed my shoulder on her way out like it mattered. On the porch, she turned and tried one more tactic, the soft plea she used to keep for traffic stops and retail returns. "Can we just talk?" she asked, voice lower. "I'm scared. I'm sorry, okay? I made a mistake." I kept my face still. Tell it to the one person paid to hear it. I'm not your audience. I closed the door. Her voice went up through it, a string of half-formed accusations and backpedals, then footsteps down the walk. I put my ear nowhere near the wood. I went to the kitchen and chopped onions for a skillet meal Tom and I had planned. When he came in, he set his keys on the hook and looked at the door. "She come by?" he asked. "Yeah." "How'd it go?" "As expected." He nodded once. "You want a beer with that?" "Water's good," I said, and we ate in quiet like grown men. The logistics rolled. The paperwork moved at the speed it moves. She sent notes through my attorney. I answered what I had to, nothing more. I arranged times to get the rest of my tools and the things I cared about. I didn't overplay it. I didn't underplay it. I stayed out. There was one more cross-current, small but annoying. A neighbor, Cindy's husband Rick, flagged me in the street when I swung by on a Saturday to pick up mail. He's the kind of man who prefers whispers to lawn work. "Heard some talk," Rick said, leaning on his mailbox like it owed him money. "She's telling folks you bailed. That you know, that she was lonely." "Rick," I said, "I'm not campaigning." He nodded, embarrassed but curious. "You okay?" "I'm better than okay." He cleared his throat. "If you need a hand moving, I got a dolly." "Appreciate it," I told him and went back to my truck. The only other public moment came at the bowling alley. She showed up there with a friend on league night, stood off to the side, and watched while I bowled the last frame. I didn't go over. Mike did, because Mike is built like a refrigerator and enjoys saying little. He said something to her, gentle but firm, and she left. That was it. Weeks later, I drove back to the house after everything was signed. It didn't feel like mine anymore, and that was okay. I was there to do the final pass. My tools from the shed, some photos I wanted, a code I'd forgotten. I turned onto our street and saw a moving truck out front. She was there in yoga pants and a sweatshirt, hair in a knot, directing two guys carrying boxes. I parked across the street, got out, kept my eyes forward. She saw me. We stood 20 feet apart on the same sidewalk where we'd waved at trick-or-treaters 2 Halloweens ago. No words. No head nod. I unlocked the door, walked in, did my sweep, took my things, and walked out. She was by the truck with a clipboard. Our eyes met for the length of a comma. Then I put my boxes in my bed, tied them down, and drove away. That's the end of that part. Clean cut. No hate sermon. No scorched earth. You want the epilogue? It's simple. I moved into a small rental house on the edge of town with a garage big enough for a bike and a workbench. I bought a used pickup that starts every time and doesn't care how early. I put my schedule in my own hands, not out of spite, out of rhythm. Work got better because my head was quiet. I picked up a big maintenance contract in August after I fixed a problem 2 other companies missed. Mike and Julius helped me move a heavy tool chest. I paid them in burgers and a fishing weekend. Tom came by with a drill and 2 jokes and refused to take gas money. I didn't rush to fill the empty chair. I went slow. Then I met Lauren at a community fundraiser for the fire department. She laughed like a person who likes her own life. She asks questions and lets answers land. We take walks after dinner. She brings her dog. And sometimes we bowl 2 games and talk trash about our own scores. No promises carved in stone. Just clean air. As for my ex, I hear what the neighborhood always hears. She moved into an apartment near her office. The old friend didn't turn into a news story. He stayed exactly what he was built to be, a weekend and a headache. She swapped cars for something cheaper. A mutual friend told Tom, who told me because he knew I wouldn't start screaming, I don't do screaming, that she's telling a softer version of the year. That's fine. People do what they need to. I don't check her socials. I don't ask about her sister. If I see Claire at the grocery store, I'll say hello, ask about the baby, and keep walking. The last time I drove past the old house, the new owners were planting something by the mailbox. The paint looked brighter. The lawn looked tighter. Good for them. Houses like being lived in. Men do too. And if you ask me what I learned, I'll keep it blunt. Respect isn't complicated. You don't need a seminar. You feel it or you don't. If someone shows you where you sit, believe them, stand up, and take your chair with you. Don't yell. Don't break plates. Change your plans, move your money, take your keys, and walk. When she turned our life into a waiting room, I stopped waiting. When she tried to sell me a story, I took my business elsewhere. That door at Tom's, closing it on a person who expected me to beg, that was the last line. My attorney is waiting with popcorn. It wasn't about court, it was about clarity. I wasn't her audience anymore. I wasn't her spare tire. I was a man with a calendar, a bank account, and a spine. And that's the whole story.